Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your December 2025 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Can you believe it is the end of the year already? I was saying to all of the other signs, I feel like this year has been like the weirdest juxtaposition. Like in one regard, I actually can't believe it's December, and in another, it's like, holy crap, like this took forever to happen. So let me know in the comments how you feel about that. But with that said, these are the three decks that I'll be using for you today. We're going back to the old school method. So let me know what you think. And yeah, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. These will be for your for later clarification. But in the meantime, you will get this. All right, so I do wanted to say, I completely spaced out there while I was shuffling the cards. So what I did want to say was, whatever you are or are not celebrating this year, happy holidays to you. I truly hope you have a wonderful Yule, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa. I really hope that it is a warm and wonderful time of year. And if you're celebrating on your own this year, as I know that can be really hard for some people, I just want you to know that I'm sending you a lot of extra love. All right, so for your actions and options this month, you have the Judgment card. So this is going to, I mean, first of all, I forgot to mention, happy damn birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic and a wonderful solar return. Remember to fill the day of your birthday with a little bit of everything that you want this year ahead to have in it. I also wanted to say that this Judgment card means that you're reaching what I would consider a big turning point here, but it does have to be self-led. This isn't something that you can just kind of sit back and wait to happen to you or for you. It's something that you're going to have to be an active participant of, right? Remember, whenever you see the Judgment card, you are getting that big kick in the pants to say, right, it's time to do something different. It's time to shift or switch your energy in some regard. Now, in terms of the options that are available to you, there's a chance here for two things. One, there's a chance for you to close out a very old or a very disruptive loop that seems to have been going on for quite some time, and it may have been something that's been happening for a lifetime. You now have a chance to shut this down, and my advice would be to do so. The other thing that this shows up here is this could be a moment for you to tread an old path that you've always wanted to go down for some, for one reason or another, and it's like seeing this through might be one of those landmark moments for you. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 10 of Cups. So, sorry, the 10 of Cups, the 9 of Cups. First of all, the quality of conversation and communication that you're having this month could actually be very healing. So if you are at odds with anybody in a professional or academic sense, or even if there's an old hatchet that needs to be buried, this could absolutely be a month where having those conversations could really lead to some very deep cathartic release of any challenges or issues that you've had. It could be the mending of bonds that you really have needed. Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this could be some very, what I would call like preliminary but very good news. So maybe one of your teachers or your lecturers at the close of the year or whatever, turns around and says to you, look, by the way, you're on par or you're on track. Or maybe you look at the results that you've been getting and you realize like, wow, if I continue at this pace, I might actually be able to really take this, to where I would like to take it. It may also be that something that you have learned in the process of your studies, etc., up until this point suddenly becomes very useful or is able to provide some kind of help, support, or even contentment to the people that you love and care for most. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, again, this could be a really, like, if you're willing to have not even hard conversations, but if you're willing to have honest conversations, you could really, like, if you've been at odds with a boss or a colleague and it just seems to have been like, when you start work and there's always that one person that you're never going to get on with. For me, the last job that I ever had, it was my it was the deputy manager of the depot. I fucking hated this guy, and that's a really strong thing to say for a December almost Christmas video, Raf. But it's the truth, right? We just rubbed each other the wrong way from start to finish, and the reason I didn't like him is because he was spineless. You know, and it's not about, you know, the fact that he wasn't loud or whatever. It was, he would only ever pick on or at people that he knew he could kind of pick on, right? Rather than tell people that had actually done something wrong, he would take it out on other people. And I don't like things like that. If there's one thing I don't like is a bully, but what's worse than a bully is somebody that bullies people that are smaller than them because they're not able to bully other people. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Anyway, I digress. So there could be, like, if you have somebody like that, you might actually be able to make amends with them, or at least get to an even keel this month if you're willing to have a frank conversation, which, let's face it, when a Sagi's not willing to have a frank conversation. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is wonderful because it means that something that you have put a lot of time, effort and energy into in the past is now going to start giving you the results or the rewards, or it's that something from your past now suddenly becomes relevant in the present, and it actually starts bringing you a lot more pleasure, a lot more joy in the work that you do, and more importantly with the prospects that are available to you because of it. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, one of the ways that this can show up is if you've had a chronic health situation, as it looks like some of you could have, especially around feet, toes, ankles, or even hips and lower back. If you've had chronic health problems or issues, this month you could find some relief, so that could be wonderful. And then for your love and relations, you've got the Five of Swords. Okay, so look, there might be some tough conversations on the relationship front. There might even be a little bit more intensity on the relationship front. But one thing that I've always believed, and I've said this, you guys have been with me long enough to know this, I've said this, you know, ad nauseum, is when you are fighting each other, it means you still think that there's something to fight for. All right. Now, when it comes to those of you that are single and looking, this, I mean, honestly, there could be a flirtation that really rubs you the wrong way. You know, like that sort of person that's like, I want to kiss you, but just because I want to bite your frigging tongue so that I can shut you up. Just me. Just a little insight into, one day I'm going to learn to have that filter thing that would, you know, people are supposed to have, not me obviously, or today apparently. That being said, look, the personal relationships and the interpersonal relationships are always a little bit strained around the holidays because it's such an intense time. Emotions are high. People tend to run on a little bit of, you know, more adrenaline because, you know, we're all living out some version of a childhood trauma that we have. This month, however, try not to go down that route. If you can feel it coming up to here, right, and you feel like it's going to escape out, take a moment, take 5 minutes, take 50 minutes if you have to. Tell your significant other, you know what, I can't do this with you right now, okay? Like, take what you need so that it doesn't become what it possibly could. Now, this kind of thing here, this is where predictive or oracular arts actually help you, right? If you listen to them, now that you've heard this and said, right, okay, there's a potential this month that is going to get a little bit heated around the holidays. Shock horror. You don't need to be a psychic to say that, right? However, it's showing up here in your personal and interpersonal relationships, which means that those, with the Nine of Cups here, you do have a potential to mend something. But now that you know this in advance, you can actually sidestep this experience. So when it comes up, you can say, right, okay, Raf said this was likely to unfold. I feel like this is that moment. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit warm in the cheeks and a little bit stressed with the amount of noise or whatever. You know what? Let me take a minute. Let me go and get some fresh air on the porch. Let me go and, you know, if you're a smoker, go for a cigarette. If you're, you know, a wine drinker, maybe have a glass of wine or whatever. whatever. Go and listen to your favorite music for 5 minutes, right? Whatever you have to do, take that moment so that you can bring yourself down, and then you can go back into it at a 4 instead of a 7, right? Hopefully that helps. Finally, you have the Four of Wands for your money and materials. Okay, before we get into that, there is something that I do want to share with you. Obviously, it is that time. The Winter Solstice Alignment Activation Session is back, baby, and hopefully better than ever. There's a link for that in the description box below. But on the 21st of December, every year, apart from the last 2 years, and everybody knows why, we gather around the digital hearth-fire, and I put on a Winter Solstice alignment session. So with this, there's going to be tarot, there's going to be FLP, future life progression, there's going to be a lot of talking about your intentions and your goals, and this is really about tapping into the magic of the solstice, using the energy of the first fresh rays of that Capricornian vibe that come in, and using them to infuse your plans, your intentions. This is doing the right thing at the right time. It's warm, it's magical, it's inviting. There's a lot to just, you guys really, everyone that attends usually is such a warm, lovely, giggly sort of vibe. So if you want to be a part of that, and if you are spending it on your own, spend at least the solstice with us, right? Tickets are super affordable. It's £33.33. That's the original price from the first ever Winter Solstice Alignment Activation Session that I did in 2019. I think it might even have been in 2018, actually. Either which way, same price, and I keep it at that because I want this to be accessible to everybody. This year, however, there are 2 offerings that I'm bringing to you this year that I'm very, very excited about. And the second one is the Reydiant cohort is up and out there. There is a link in the description box below. What is it? Well, it's a year's journey, but it's split into 4 parts. So don't let that freak you out. It doesn't mean you're committing for a year, because each portion of the cohort is 12 weeks. So if you are serious about stepping into and utilizing the winter arc, January through March, right, the season where all things close down, you're going to be seeing this on all of my socials. You're going to be seeing it on the YouTube community tab. So if you want more information and you're thinking, okay, it sounds maybe, not sure, this is not for the faint of heart though, and I do want to make that very clear to you. If you're not about consistency, if you can't answer hard questions, if you're not interested in getting to know yourself at a much deeper level, this is really not for you, right? This cohort, this specific level of the cohort is called Foundation. We're going to be getting into your patterns, your habits, the reason that you do what you do. This is a 12-week journey. It starts on January 4th and it ends on March 29th. And you are going to be diving very deep into the recesses of yourself. There's going to be a lot more info about it out there. What I will say to you is there are only 50 spaces. And the reason I'm keeping this first one short and sweet like this is so that I can make sure that over this time, because this is going to be the most intense part of this journey, right? I want to make sure that I give all of you at least some one-to-one time with me while you're processing this. So there are 50 spaces. Either those go first or doors will close on December 31st, because January 4th, the work starts. You're going to get fortnightly calls, just a quick 60, sometimes maybe 90-minute. It's going to be tarot, journaling, meditation. There's going to be so many things that I'm going to give you. If you want to know yourself at a much deeper level, the Reydiant cohort foundation level, this is for you. All right, there's a link for that in the description box below as well. With that said, we're going to get back to your reading. So for your money and materials, you've got the Four of Wands. This bodes very well for the finances. It does potentially suggest that there is some kind of financial blessing, reward, or even some news coming into the home that could end up seeing some kind of property matter being very lucrative. It's also possible that something that you have had to fight or argue for or with, or maybe some plan that you had to put in place that had really created problems or issues, it's like now you see the results of it, right? This is where you're starting to see the rewards and the results of the hard work and graft that you've done in some regard, and you're seeing them on the financial level. When it comes to to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be mind, and I will also say please watch out for face this month, touch wood. You know, when you're putting your shopping away, close the top cupboard, you know, and just seeing accidents with or around the noggin. All right, so please watch out for that. And then when it comes to your home and environment, it's just celebration all round, right? And that's exactly what you want at this time of year. For your first week of the month, you've got the Death card with the Judgment card. So if you've had worries or issues or health scares about somebody's health, just know that this is not that time, and there is still plenty of time left, all right? For your second week of the month, you've got the Star card with the Nine of Cups. The second week of the month looks absolutely stellar, quite literally. And because it is the Star card, one of the things that I will say to you is a lot of the conversations that you have this month will be not only very healing, but they're also going to reinstall or reinstill trust. Which is great. Third week of the month, look at that. You got the Sun card. We love it. What I will also say is, obviously, you know, even if there are tough conversations or maybe even little outbursts or blow-ups, they'll pass quickly. And with this Sun card here, I mean, look, what more can you ask for, right? The holiday season specifically is going to be warm, it's going to be inviting, it's going to be a lot of laughter, and as well, for a few of you, it does look like some form of travel. And then finally, for your fourth week of the month, you've got the Strength card. That's interesting. Because it means that for a lot of you, in the heart of hearts, there's something about the living situation that you need or want, or maybe even really just desire to change. Interestingly enough, you've got the gate 40 and solitude, and the message behind this isn't necessarily just about being alone. It's about choosing the right moment to listen to your own counsel. All right, and so there might be a situation that unfolds over the course of this month where everyone's like, no, you know, this is the best thing for you to do, and you're like, yeah, you know, but actually what my gut really says is this. This is one of those times where a move that you make may not be understood by everybody, and yet you will have to make it still. With that said, I would like to wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I truly hope you have a wonderful Yule, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Christmas, whatever you do or don't celebrate. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for all of your support throughout this year. I really couldn't have done it without you, with all of the madness that I put us all through with the channel. Anyway, I just want to say a huge thank you again so much. It really means the world to me that you guys come back, that you comment, that you watch, that you like, that you share, that you subscribe, that you book readings. It all means so much to me, and I literally wouldn't be here without you. All right, so have a wonderful time of it. Oh, and just to say, there's something coming on New Year's Day as well that you may or may not want to stay tuned for. All right, with that said, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.